Hey. It's that time again. Time for your favorite friendly neighborhood dude with a mustache crew. This is the Ergo AMA. Well, mustache and just some like AM fuzz in some cases. So this is the weekly AMA, and today we have with us Mark Glasgow, the one, the only. Well,
Yes,
there's probably other Mark Glasgows out there in the world, but he's ours,
Just a couple.
Yeah, there are many like this, but this one is ours. And of course, we have QX joining us from a home in an Office Depot in Paramus, New Jersey, or whatever. And I am your host for this evening or morning or afternoon, and Dan Friedman. And so say hi to everybody, Mark and QX, whoever wants to go first.
Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to be here.
Morning. Look. Don't mistime my time zones. Okay. This is not okay. This might be afternoon. It might be evening for some people, like me, for example. But anyway,
that was pretty insensitive of me.
Yeah, it was very insensitive. We're going to have to send you to a sensitivity re-education camp.
All right, let's do this. What's new for you, Dan? I saw you had a nice that people might not know about. I saw you had a nice live video the other day that I tuned into for a bit.
Oh yeah. So so this is actually something that that I have been doing with Theodore. And so Theodore, you might know obviously from Zengate. He's also the one who's been hosting the Rosen workshops, Theo, or Cardano Chef. And so what we started to do is a weekly live podcast called The Mainstream. And so basically what it's all about is, we're using Ergo to tokenize RWAs, right? And then we're using Cardano to then do on-off-chain data validation and all that stuff. And so what we're building, we're aiming for the general audience, right? For the for the big markets, right? For mass markets. And so the point of the show is to really kind of get an understanding of what those mass markets think and want, and what does adoption look like in those mass adoption markets for RWAs, for tokenization, for blockchain tech. And so every week we have different guests that are in these industries, in different industries, commodities industries. We had a futurist on the other day. So basically somebody's a professional futurist who's I forgot what the actual, it's an actual degree that you can get. He's got a master's in this, Gary Golden. He's actually also an ergonaut. So he's his job is basically make projections of different technological advancements and then progressions and things like that, mostly on a corporate level. Just a lot of guests like this. We're in episode 6 now, so the next one I think is episode 7. And just if you guys are interested in to know what it's going to look like to really get a technology like Ergo adopted by the mainstream, as we call it. That's what we call the mainstream. Tune in. So it's every Tuesday. Sorry, today is Thursday. It's every Tuesday at this same time, actually. Same exact time on Tuesdays. And it's live, so you can ask questions just like this. You can troll us just like this. So, yeah, it's good stuff. So we have been also kicking off the Rosen, or continue to kick off the Rosen EVM iteration of Rosen Bridge. So I think we're in milestone 1 or 2 right now. We're working on 1 right now, because milestone 1 is actually a pretty involved milestone. So that's in progress right now. So yeah, we're on our way to get Rosen connected to EVM. This is really exciting, obviously, and you know what? I've heard this before where they say, oh, well, there's bridges to EVMs and, there is a Cardano bridge to EVM. You can move tokens in between, blah, 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 blah. The thing is, they're all centralized, right? And so what the point here is that this is a decentralized bridge with no smart contracts, no smart contracts iteration between chains, heavy with security. So it's really not like anything that's out there. I don't know anything that's out there that's like, I mean, I'm not the all-knowing oracle of the blockchain space, so there might be something out there, but I just have never heard about anything like this in the blockchain space. So I think it's super important to connect it to the EVM ecosystem, because that will then allow movement between the ecosystems, so that people, like what we were saying in the last AMA, use Ergo to build and then move it to the EVM chain for liquidity. And I also this other argument that I've heard has been, well, if you build a bridge to EVM, people are just going to go to EVM. Right, so there's going to be liquidity leakage, right? There's going to be traffic leakage. I've heard the same argument with Cardano. They're saying, oh, well, if you build a proper bridge onto an EVM between Cardano, then all these people are going to migrate to EVM. Well, there's two flaws in my mind with that kind of argument, and you guys can weigh in on this if you would like. Number one, a good portion of projects built specifically on Ergo because of Ergo technology, right? They also build on Ergo. That's number one. Number two, they also build on Ergo because of it's a business decision, right? So, for example, for the Winter Protocol, for Palmyra, it was a business decision. It is more straightforward and cheaper to do what I need to do on Ergo. For me, I could not build this. My team could not build what we're building on EVM. Like it would just not work the same way. The fees are way too high. The architecture is completely different. It just would not work in the same way that it could work on Ergo. So, for me to say migrate Winter Protocol to EVM just doesn't make sense. You can't do that without ETXO. You just can't. So I just think that it's all about the projects, and I don't think there's going to be as much leakage. If there is leakage, it's projects that didn't really have an identity in these ecosystems to begin with, right? If they have an identity in this ecosystem, if they're properly utilizing the technology, they're going to stay with the technology and go there for liquidity. And this is something that we're most likely going to do as well. We're gonna like right now, we're doing RS Palm on Cardano. We're just going to do, RS Palm on EVM as well when that's available. However, we're not going to just go to EVM. It just doesn't make sense. So unless you're, like an NFT collection or something, and even then, it's still a business decision. How much is it going to cost you to mint? How much, what kind of competition you have and all that stuff. So I don't know. What do you guys think about stuff like that?
I think it goes each way. Like you'll get some people bridging over, like say to put their Ergo in something like Liquid protocol. Maybe bigger DeFi protocols get different or bigger yields, but it goes both ways. There'll be people coming in this way as well, and it also gets our projects out into the wider ecosystem. So you get Dixie Gold on Cardano, and then all the EVM chains, and just much bigger, gives them much more access to the market. I don't think that's a real downside to be considered, really. Not a big one, anyway.
What do you think, UX?
Yeah, I feel the same sentiment. I mean, we saw with the Cardano bridge, yeah, it was busier at first with traversing over to Cardano, but we didn't see any sort of at least price impact or any issues with that kind of thing after that. So I don't expect I don't expect anything different to happen when you come to the other chains. And while you were speaking, it made me think of something funny. You were talking about centralized bridges. It made me think of that meme, the meme where, it's that meme where, oh, honey, we have that at home. And then it shows a picture of that at home. So it's like the kid asks for Rosen Bridge. It's a beautiful, sparkly, decentralized bridge. And the mom's like, oh, no, honey, sorry, we have a EVM bridge at home. And it's like the Indiana Jones bridge from Temple of Doom kind of thing.
Alima. We actually have a question here. So from Augustus Kent, are you surprised that the Cardano community tolerates centralized bridges? I thought ADA community understood the value of decentralization. I mean, it's not that they tolerate it. It's just, it's about, no community should be a group think, right? It's whatever works for you. If you want to go on a centralized bridge, go on a centralized bridge. For me, I don't want to go on a centralized bridge because of all these different things like security risks. I mean, it's a centralized bridge. It's centralized. The whole point of it is to decentralize so you risk yourself with these decentralized infrastructure. But, it's not about, if there is, there's always going to be people who are going to want to go through a centralized bridge. There's not, it's going to take a long, long time for people to just say, okay, well, you know what? I don't care waiting for Rosen to do its thing. Some people just need to do it faster. Look at what Solana is about. The thing is, the thing is clunky as a Yugo, but people go to it because it's fast and it's cheap. Why is it fast and cheap? Well, it's because it's not decentralized and it's kind of a, but they go to it. It's all about market trends. It's all about kind of just trends in general. It takes quite a bit of time for sentiment to truly shift to things that are practical, and practicality is then defined throughout time. So centralized bridges, you see the impact right now, for example, more and more, even though people still use centralized bridges. Back in the day, you could go through a centralized bridge to an EVM ecosystem and bridge your token or whatever, and then get it listed on exchanges, right? Now, many exchanges will not list a bridge token because of these constant bridge hacks, right? So there has been kind of a sentiment shift away from trusting just because it's on a bridge and it's now an ERC20 token, it's okay. So the same with decentralized infrastructure. I have a strong belief that over time, people will understand that decentralized infrastructure, enough people will understand that decentralized infrastructure is for the better. And, with these assets, with these kinds of assets, there's really not that many cases that I can think of right now where this asset has to be immediately available, right? I'm not saying that there won't be a scenario like that, but I just don't see it now. Right now, it's okay. So you're transferring this value from one chain to another. You can wait a little bit just to make sure that the thing gets there safely and you actually gets there without getting hacked or stolen or exploited or whatever. So, I just think it's all about, what's practical for people. And I think there's still always going to be people using centralized bridges because it's never going to just go away, I don't think. Maybe it will, but I don't think it will. But it's about what people want, and I just think that it's a matter of time before more and more people decide that decentralization is the way to go with bridging. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think that at least with Rosen, people tend to look at the picture in front of their face right now, which is, oh, here's a secure bridge. It's, it takes, up to an hour sometimes to transfer to another chain. What's adoption going to look like? But they really need to look at the big picture and far into the future here, where, Rosen can be a direct competitor to central exchanges in this instance. Let's talk about perhaps DEX on top of Rosen, or even go beyond that step and talk about a fiat on-ramp that plugs into Rosen. So you come to Rosen with your fiat, you pump it in, and you go to any chain you want to that Rosen is connected to. So it's big and bright future, I think, for Rosen. And the stuff we're seeing right now is just like the foundation bricks of building it up here. So I'm really excited about that, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be a factor for us as we grow as well. You'll get more and more people, more of the general public, and they'll tend to opt for the easier options, so they don't care too much about decentralization. But you need to make it as seamless as possible, so that they don't have to care, and that just becomes the default. So we just need to get to compete with the centralized options.
Yeah, I think that's actually the key right there, what you just said about making it seamless. Right. When you make it seamless, people just it's a lot less. The learning curve was a lot less. It's a lot less steep. So yeah. If it's a seamless transaction and it's just about a little bit of time, I think I think like the narrative is going to be, well, okay, yeah, it just takes a little bit of time to bridge assets. I mean, you don't have to get it right away. I mean, people got used to bank transfers taking days, and I mean, look, even with my fiat stuff, like Wise, right? Wise still takes like 20 to 30 minutes to get to my account. And I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. It's fine because it doesn't take a day anymore. So I think, but I know that it's going to get there, and that's that's what's good about it, because doing it through Japanese banks back in the day, transfers. When I just came to Japan about 10, 12 years ago, literally transfers took 3 to 4 days. You had to fill out this form, and this is in the 21st century we're talking about, right? You had to fill out a paper form, like a long one, not just a little one, right? Like a long paper form. 3 to 4 days, no notifications about if the money made it. You have to go and check with the other bank, and it's just kind of like, yeah, so we'll take your money and we'll let you know. Like, when are you gonna let me know? Oh, we can't tell you. And that was okay, I guess, because you didn't have any other options, So, I mean, the same with this. It's like I don't care about waiting 30 minutes, because I don't have to wait 3 days.
Yeah, I deal with sending money over down south, at least in the past, quite a bit. And what a nightmare. And I agree with what you guys say. I think we're never going to win over the people who, I think it's two different use cases here, two different audiences we're looking for. We have the audience that is looking for efficient, seamless, and then we have the audience that's looking for decentralization. If we bring the seamlessness into it and make it easy for that group of people, the decentralized people are already going to be there. So, because that's what Rosen is. So, yeah, I totally agree, guys.
Yeah. All right. So, let's go to another question here. So, Wombo asks a question for Mark. Can you speak on the current status of the EF with the departure of Kushti? Anything changed, stayed the same, I guess? What would you say?
Well, we're doing a reorg just now. We're reincorporating as a DAO, which is properly like connected to the multi-sig and stuff. So the applications in it should be done end of the month, I think, because we were struggling to get a bank account in the Singapore entity for various reasons. But yeah, it's been a real pain dealing with this, just because of the nature of crypto and the regulations not really there yet. So we've been trying loads of different things, but we think we've got a good model now. So there'll be an update on that soon once everything's formalized.
All right. So
speaking of multi-sig, let me put a plug in here for Minotaur, even though it's semi-related. The Minotaur team came out with a release candidate 1 for version 2 kind of preview, and it's beautiful. It's like night and day from version 1. It saves your transactions. It lists them all during the process. It shows you who's signed and who hasn't. It's fantastic. So any small groups or projects that are looking for multi-sig, just bite the bullet and jump into that version 2 release candidate 1. It's beautiful. Have you spun it up, Mark?
Yeah, and that's what we use for the EF ones.
Oh,
It's came a long way the past few months. But yeah, it's quite nice to use there.
Yeah. Let's see. We had another question here. Where did it go? Thought I found a nice question here. Well, actually, okay. So here's something. When Ergo Summit, asked by the Cotelier.
yeah.
Well. So now this hasn't been confirmed. This is just starting, right? We're just starting to figure this out right now. But there is a possibility of an Ergo meetup being hosted at Rare Evo. Yeah.
Is that at a Home Depot, Daniel?
That's a Home Depot. Yeah. Rare Evo hosted at Home Depot in the power tools section.
That makes sense. Proof of power, proof of work. I love it.
Yeah. But symbolic proof of work.
Yep. So I just pinged the SIGs yesterday as well, Dan, to remind them that we've been invited to do a block. So we'll probably chat a little more about at least the SIGs coming as well, and put up a vote on Padilla soon for that funding.
So here's the thing. So NFT XLV merged with Rare Evo. So this would be at Rare Evo. So yeah, we could do obviously an Ergo combined kind of aisle. And also what I wanted to do is an Ergo meetup at Rare Evo. And so we're working that out right now. If it does happen, it will be lots of fun. Like the last one was in Austin a couple of years ago. That was a really good one. And I think we're going to have quite a few of the Ergo community out at that event because they're also in the Cardano community. So I think it's going to be a good time either way. We'll make it happen, I think.
Can you clarify that, Dan? NFT LV is no longer in September?
So NFT XLV merged with Rare Evo, and so now everything's happening at Rare Evo at the third week of August, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but it's in August.
Okay, great.
In Las Vegas. It's at Caesar's Palace, Las Vegas.
Caesar's Palace, yeah, awesome.
Yeah, Caesar's Palace, Las Vegas. So yeah, so I really want to make that happen. Last one was fantastic. So yeah, it's in the works.
And about the Ergo conference, there's been whispers, right, about meeting in Colorado for that. I believe Joe Arminio has a facility that's a very beautiful facility that can be used for this meetup. He also has mountaintop pizza that he can cook for us on his outdoor pizza grill. So that's something we whispered about, and initially thought maybe early next year or end of this year, just because Colorado gets very cold in the winter for people that don't know, especially up in those mountains. So perhaps the summer would be a little bit too short to organize. So perhaps we could start talking about that soon and get it in the pipe.
Joe's a great guy, but there's just like a tiny 0.5% inkling in my mind that if he gets me up in the mountain in his compound, not just no, hold on. Well, okay. Did you ever see what is it? What is that book? The Deadliest Game? What is it?
Where they hunt humans? They hunt humans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it might be, or what was that movie with Ice-T? Yeah, there was a movie with Ice-T back in the day that was kind of like that. Yeah, so I think maybe, he might
You're a little worried.
hunt me. There's a small chance I might become prey, but nevertheless, I mean, if there's pizza, that's my weakness. So, but just Joe, I'm not fun to hunt. So just FYI, QX is a lot more fun. All right, let's see.
That would be fun. It'd be fun to plan something like that and to plan activities, and not just your more useful activities and fun activities. I'd like to try to plan something like that. Not just go around and strut your stuff and what we've built, but in addition to that, let's have stuff and be productive. And, there's some things you can accomplish in person in a group that it's a little more difficult remotely and on different time periods. So yeah, that'd be really exciting. I'm really, really pumped for that opportunity.
Yeah. All right. We had a couple of questions here. Actually, we had a question for Mark up here. So, question for Mark: please talk about the regulatory environment and compare Ergo with other chains in this regard.
Well, I think it's kind of immature at this stage. Ergo's got a better chance than I think pretty much any other smart contract platform, just due to the way it's set up. So it does pretty well on the heavy test. But in terms of actual environment today, it's mostly about paying big firms to do audits or integrations into their wallets. So yeah, there's a lot of dealing with that. KYC. So I think more exchanges will probably require KYC tools to be built on the platform for their integrity. At least the way to tell what the transactions are and stuff. So you kind of need to put a lot of money in to make it comply with this. So Ergo's got a lot of benefits in one way, but also downsides another way. Where VC coins can just buy all these things straight away, spend $1 million on 5 different integrations, and then they just plug into different places. We'll have to build it up slowly, pick the best ones, and go forward that way, I think.
Yeah.
And some of those are already plugged into some wallets, right? We're not part of some of those payment systems, those fiat on-ramps, Mark, right? But you're looking at.
Yeah, there's like Fireblocks was the one for Index, and there's another big one. And then there's 2 big KYC kind of ones, Coin Firm, I think one's called. Which would be handy for integrating the big exchanges, because it just makes their job easier. They can just load you on and click a button, and then they know it's all secure, it's all going to comply, it's fine. But yeah, it's just we need to go forward with them, pick one that's best if needed. It depends what exchanges we end up on in the next few months and years, and how the environment changes, because it's constantly shifting. A lot better already, even this year compared to the last few years. There's more chances to actually set up companies as DAOs, and those kind of frameworks are starting to come about. But yeah, we've got a way to go.
Have you run into an experience yet, or a missed opportunity where perhaps you would think that certain entities would not sign with you if you were a full-on DAO and weren't a legal entity somewhere?
Well, you need to be a legal entity, but you can do a DAO as a legal entity now in a few places. Some places don't care. The bigger ones, you'll need an entity, and they'll check and do all the background checks and stuff. But there's more frameworks coming, so you can actually do that as a DAO without setting up a kind of old fiat style bank account and stuff. But yeah, it's still early days there, I think. Lots to mature.
Okay.
So there's a question here for QX parentheses. How is the Cornell job going? Did you get many applicants? Did you already hire? How are they doing?
We went through one round of applicants first, and it didn't work out at the end for that. So we actually changed the job title and reposted it to be something different. We were getting a lot of project managers applying because we had project management in the title. And so we changed the title to literally like a project and full stack developer, and it's much more correct of applicants applying. We have 45 applicants, and I just literally went through them on Monday. All 45. It was absolutely insane to go through that much. Because everybody has like, oh, I do JS Node, oh, I do JavaScript, oh, I do. So you really have to parse that out to see what's going to be useful from there. But we have a lot of strong candidates in this collection, so looking forward to it. Not as many blockchain experiences as I thought, but some of the top ones are blockchain already experience. So that's definitely a plus. So yeah, HR is really getting on my ball sack to sort through to do the first round of interviews here. So that's what spurred me to go through everything on Monday, and we should start those interviews on the second round this week and next week, I guess, after we go through them. These things take so long. I'm sorry, but yeah, this is the second time.
Yeah, actually, we we hired a few people, in the past a couple of months for at Zengate, and I was just getting some feedback from somebody who sent me a person today. I said, well, yeah, we thank you for sending this person to me. It's a great person. We did the interview, and they're hired. And it's like, wait, that fast? Well, yeah. I mean, it's what would I don't need. Yeah, I mean, the guy had 3 interviews. Well, that's fast. I'm like, well, I don't have time to bullshit. I need people. I mean, like, we're not Sears and Roebuck. After 3 interviews, we will know if this is a good person or not. Or at least we should. Unless it's some sort of, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what for the positions that we have. I don't need to do more than 3 interviews. And I mean, we didn't even need to do 3. We just couldn't coordinate to have everybody in the same place because of the time zones.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of bureaucracy here, that's for sure. But one of the things that I think I mentioned in one of the AMAs months ago, that one of the first things I like to do with this person when they come here is a lot of and I hope nobody that works with me is ever seeing this video, or anybody above me in my position is ever seeing this. But universities are, at the same time, it's like Schroeder's whatever. Universities are at the same time fearful of their students because they pay the bills, and at the same time, they don't want to listen to the students. It's an insane, weirdly paradox, okay? So students will form groups and they'll petition, and administration will listen to them if they get too loud sometimes or fearful of something else. If big donors or big donor parents step in or alumni step in and support the students, that's when you see real change happening. But otherwise, it's sometimes it feels like a facade, for sure, about what students have control over, even though from my administrative side, I see that administration is afraid of students in that manner, faculty as well sometimes. So what I want to do, one of the first things that I want to do with this position is we have a 40-seat computing lab upstairs in one of our wings. And it's kind of not owned, but it's emotionally it's owned by a certain department. It's a lot of kids hang out there, they do work there, that kind of thing, as well as classes are taught there. So the idea is that if this is so important to the students and they they come to me individually for change and that kind of thing, I'd like them to drive the change themselves. So the idea would be to set up a DAO for not just this space, but other spaces as well, and put tokens that are equivalent to my budget. So let's say I spend $100,000 every 4 years in this lab. So then I'd put 100,000 tokens essentially into Padilla that were the lab tokens. And the students could then vote on proposals of what they wanted to push forward. Hey, we don't like this projection system. We see this better. We want to do this. So they could vote on that and bring it to the table collectively, as far as I could give them a little more power. So that's something that I'm really interested in to do this, because, yeah, I think it's a strange paradox we're in, at least in administration and colleges. If anybody's ever, Mark, you're in education. Do you see that at all?
Yeah, I think they just kind of stuck in their ways. We did the same thing for 40 years, some of them. that's just how they operate. But yes, this is a cool idea.
Yeah.
Mhm. All right. So question for me: how has the onboarding process been with the new producers? Any feedback that you have received? Just very smooth. We have a team. The team is basically Nico and Sam that have been working with the producers, onboarding them. They're actually onboarding one either now or just finished onboarding another one. Another one of the one of our new producers. So yeah, it so far has been going pretty smoothly. The new architecture is looking really good. Can't wait to deploy the new iteration of Winter Protocol in production. In production, and V2 is going to be awesome. We're finally going to get to run some transactions through Ergo and tokenize stuff, and put some volume through, run some volume through. So really excited about that. We actually have buyers already standing by, and again, that's going to bring volume to Ergo, since all of this is going to be on chain. In the next few weeks, this is what's going to happen. So I'll keep you guys posted, and really excited about this. Just been doing a lot lately. There's some things happening where starting to move some things, but that you'll hear about very soon. It's just been a lot of 3 hours of sleep a nights. It's very rewarding because it's finally starting to move. We're finally starting to kind of get into where we're supposed to get into. LAMP. I love LAMP. Do you love LAMP?
LAMP is Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. It's a little package you can run really quickly on your machine. It's pretty handy for people just spinning something up quickly. I'm not sure what he's referring that to.
I love
Maybe
LAMP.
he's talking to HQ before.
I love LAMP. Okay. Q or QX. Can you speak of the current progress with SIG's mining pool?
SIG's mining pool is awesome, but also it makes me sweat at night sometimes. I was talking to Cheese about it the other day, and he's like, QX, man, you need to just some advice. You don't have to take it, but kind of be slow on your upscale here, because it'll turn into your full-time job. And yeah, I said, yeah, I already noticed that. That's very correct. There's a lot of effort that goes into that kind of thing, especially when you have 100 miners connecting to it, and 50 of them, don't see their shares exactly when they see them, want to see them, or expect to see them, and that kind of thing. A lot to learn from GitBlock, at least, with that kind of feedback. Mining pool is going awesome. We have a user that came on a couple of weeks ago named Mark, who built a Docker image for us. Well, let me start from a part. The goal is here in the SIG's mining. The goal I want to have happen before Lithos comes, of course, is to decentralize as much of this as possible. So the thing we can't decentralize right now is mining core. So we've accepted the fact that that's going to be stuck on a server. Perhaps we'll share the keys to that server to some, trusted members in the SIGs community, so that they can have control over that as well, instead of just one person, myself. So that's there. Then the idea would be, it'd be nice to have an interface that wasn't hosted somewhere, or if it was hosted somewhere, could also be hosted by yourself. So that's exactly what Mark did. Mark made a Docker image that anybody can spin up that's mining, and then just like the Watcher app or the Mixer app, you go to your local port, your local IP, and a port, and you have your full dashboard of everything, of all the mining stats. So that's step one. We're going to host that as well on a server, just in case people aren't as experienced to spin it up themselves. But the idea there, it's there to spin up yourself in case a centrally hosted server goes down. The second thing is starting with MFERL tokens, which I put an EIP proposal out for a little while ago. And the idea there is we want to dump data on chain, but we don't want it to stay around for long. So I want to take the mining data straight from mining core and dump it right on chain per miner. So the idea is these tokens will exist in a smart contract. They will have ownership by the miner themselves. And after a set amount of time, miners will then be able to burn those tokens and collect the reward that in the box they were sitting in for burning those tokens. And then they will be no more existent on the blockchain and not taking up space when it's not needed. So that's step 2 there. To get reliance off a centralized database. Because if the centralized mining core server goes down and stuff's written to the blockchain, we still have it. We still have all those stats as far as that goes, and individual miners can see it. So yeah, that's what we're looking for. It's going really well. We're about 15 gigahash actually, and we found 3 blocks within a day 5 days ago, and then we've been a little dry. So let me knock on wood. Hoping we find a block soon. But yeah, should be any time, I hope, knock on wood. It's fun. So I posted it on Twitter on somebody's comment, so we got a new person there. We're working on putting it, right now it's running actually on my home network connection, which some people have some issues with latency. Their pings are getting up around 200 milliseconds. So I am in the process over the next few days of migrating that to a cloud-based server very fast. It's the one I run my other stuff on, which is it's about 100 ping from Central Europe, and it's about a 20 ping here in the States. So it should be good enough for now for mining to have one server up, and we'll see how it goes. But that's the next step. It's super cool, super great. I still have from Cheese 2 weeks from Cheese before we get the storage rent integrated into mining core, but we're looking forward to that as well.
Give me a ping, Vasily. 1 ping only, please. 1 ping only, please. Nobody, none of you Gen Zers get that reference.
I don't get it.
Martin.
Old people like me and QX get it. Well, QX, Anyway, all right, let's see. Thanks for leaving me hanging there, QX. Dick. All right. Let's see. Okay, there it is. Okay, Mark, congrats on all those who donated to the MEXC listing raffle. Pats myself on the back. What sort of time frame are we looking at for the listing?
A contract was signed a few days ago. I'm just working on some questions that devs asked, just general questions how to integrate. They sent a bunch over. I asked for a rough timeline today. I think they mentioned somewhere previous in the chat before I joined that April maybe. But I'll get a firm date off them, and then we can announce. Shouldn't be too long, I don't think. I think they list pretty quickly, generally speaking.
All right. Sure hope so. All right. We got a question from Bison Buffalo. Is it possible to mine Ergo on any device? Theoretically, is it possible to one day mine Ergo on my smartphone? Okay. How about you answer this one, QX?
It's funny you should ask that. What's his name? Rustin, if people see in chat once in a while. He's sometimes takes a little break, so I think he's on a break now. Rustin had a cool idea, because you can CPU mine directly to the node, I believe. Still, is that still possible, Mark?
Yeah, that's what you're doing, testnet, just very weak.
Yeah, so you can CPU mine directly to the node, and Rustin was speaking about this neat thing that he's seen other projects do, and it's kind of the lottery project essentially. So you put a little app on your phone that mines, and it's useless. I mean, we're talking it's got to be like 1/10 of a mega hash or something. It's so small, but the idea is to get people involved for fun. So it's kind of like a lottery app. Sure, there's like a 1 in a billion chance that you'll find a block, but if you do find a block, it's 30 ergs, and depending on the price of erg at the time, that could be a fun little lottery thing to play. So while you're not necessarily have a big hash on phones or anything like that, it's still a fun gambling idea as far as that goes. But yeah, I don't see let me read the full question. So yeah, possible, but not efficient, and you probably have the heat death of the universe happen before you find a block.
All right. Well, hopefully that answers it. Anything to add, Mark?
Not really. I think maybe one day kind of depends how tech evolves, but you can't really. Who knows what's going to look like? Maybe.
Yeah.
We get some beefy GPUs and a phone where we have a heatsink and a fan.
Well, could just not generate much heat, kind of like the Apple silicon ones.
Yeah, the Apple Silicon's pretty cool. I was mining. I tested out mining. I forget what it was. What's that stable coin? Zephyr, right? CPU mining coin. I tested that out. I modified a version of a miner and mined it on an M2. It was pretty good, I'd say. I compared it against like a dual rig Xeon setup, and it kept its pace with that. So yeah, you're right, Mark. That's, I guess, depending on chip development, we could see things. But that's also, of course, considering that the algo doesn't harden up even more for Ergo too. So it could be a battle like that going forward.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I have a question for Mark down here. So Wendy Moon asks, how many members are there of the EF now, and how many are actively involved in decision making?
5 in all of them. So we've got MHS, Arminio, Justin, myself, and Morphic, who is one of the Ergo script devs, Sigma State Interpreter. But yeah, they're all active in decision making. MHS and Morphic are more on the dev side, but then they'll vote on things and give their opinions on how to spend the funds and what to do. So they're active in that sense. Justin's more active in kind of organizational stuff right now. And I just do a bit of everything.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you guys are busy. What about you, QX? How many people make decisions for you?
You're muted.
Oh. Well,
Thanks
somebody
so
made a
much.
decision to mute himself.
I did. I'm not in the EF, but as far as SIGs go, I think SIGs is doing amazingly well. We have people like Cannon stepping in to work on the market making. We have Mark jumping in this, not this Mark, the other Mark jumping in the SIGs mining channel and working on development there for that kind of stuff. We have Wombo kicking ass, posting crap all around and promoting. We have Erg1, who's also part of the Sigmanaut group, really pumping their Erg1 stuff. The memes on Twitter are killer with the Erg1 project is really cool. So Sigmanauts is really starting to ramp up, and people are really starting to grab what they feel that they can do best. And that's what we try to promote. If you see something, you see something that you're interested in that maybe it's not going quite like you want it to do, either, you jump in and help out, or you start on your own and do a parallel thing. So either way is fine. And people are finally starting to realize that, which is absolutely fantastic. It makes me very happy. I want to cry sometimes.
Most times.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for the correction.
All the time. Anyway, all right, let's see. And let's go to maybe I'll pick a few questions all the way at the bottom. Let's see. So High Quality Erg is saying he does PHP. Please hire me for the cornhole job.
Sorry, HQ, you'd have to move to the USA to work. They've been a real big stinker about that. That was one of the things that I tried to do because I had a different vision for this position, but they nixed that in the bud about halfway through my planning process there, which was not very happy. Sorry, HQ, but HQ does want me to promote his Ninja bot. That's probably why he's speaking. He's developed this pretty nifty price bot that works off tokens that you can purchase essentially. So it's a paid service, but he's migrating to Cardano. So it's going to do Ergo and Cardano prices. And he's vowed to migrate and track whatever chain Rosen goes to. So essentially, I have a bot sitting on Ergo Telegram or whatever Telegram you add it to, and you can check out all of the things that Rosen has its little fingers in. So there you go, HQ. I hope you're happy, HQ. I'm not being paid by this. I'm just reporting the news, folks.
Sure you are. Sure you are. All right, let's see. Where was that? Oh, okay. So here's a quick question. What is the next step for Rosen, BTC or ETH? Well, so the next step is EVM. So that's what they're working on right now. Now, after that, I'm not sure actually. What was it? Was it BTC or was it Binance?
They're working on both BTC and ETH at the moment. I'm not sure who, but yeah, I think they're working on both of them. They said at one point BTC might be easier just because it's simpler. There's only one side to do, really. And after we get the BTC one, we can do Doge and all the BTC forks quite easily. Doge would be an interesting one, especially. Get them pulled into the ecosystem, utilizing the DApps.
Yeah, Doge. I'm excited for Doge coming over just for there's a relevancy about Doge that you guys may find out on Sunday, but I asked MHSAM about those just to make sure so that I could have it in my armory of questions. But yeah, he said that's still in the pipe, and that's going to be fun. And due to the nature of what I'm doing this week, I looked a little bit into that, and it's interesting. The community, because we're big and heavy on like functionality and function and development and that kind of thing, and community as well. But it's interesting to see what makes these other things tick and how they work. And I think we can learn a lot from these kind of things. So yeah.
Well, all right. Well, here's a question from Big 3D. When can we expect more watcher spaces? I don't know when is that going to happen? Then do you guys know? Do you guys have any alpha on this?
I think maybe in the next few weeks, maybe by the end of the month. A rough timeline. And then they're going to do the ISPO after that.
But I know they're also speaking about increasing the guard set more than they initially thought as well. So it'll be a much, much, much larger guard set than they anticipated, which is like, it just blows my mind to think that let's say 100 guards could operate decentralized, but also together for a similar goal, dealing with multi-sig, hot wallets, multi-sig, cold wallets, and that's going to function. I mean, that's a hell of a feat. Super impressive.
Oh, sure it is. It definitely is. All right. We have a question from Cotelier. Where did the name Glue Glue come from? Question for Mark.
I think that was maybe in Gulag, in the deep darkest point of the bear market. So a place you don't want to go.
Oh, jeez. I thought it was the other thing. So Mark used to be known. So as everybody knows, Mark is like an encyclopedia. There's pretty much nothing that goes on Ergo that Mark doesn't know about. So early on, Mark used to be called, instead of Glasgow, it was Glass Google. Just because he was faster than Google. Yeah.
Glass Google. That is awesome. All right. Let's see what else we got. All right. Let's see.
Do Amoeba's question down at the bottom.
Okay.
That's an easy question. We can.
Can the guards and watchers watch multiple chains at once? Do you need a new set for each chain?
So the guards can watch everything because remember, the guards are watching Ergo, and then they're just going out and confirming, essentially. So there's very low bandwidth needed there for the guards to do all the chains. The watchers, on the other hand, yes, just like Cardano and Ergo, you need to spin up a different instance for each of those. And that's kind of the whole point, guys, right? I mean, what's the point of a fallover and failover system of decentralized nature if one person's running a watcher for 5 different chains? If their computer internet goes down, you just have 5 failed points right there. So if you're running a watcher, it's ideal that if you're running a Cardano watcher, you run that maybe on your home. If you're running an Ergo watcher, maybe run it at work or a cloud-based thing. So you have different fail points there. If you're running everything on your home network, that's, I guess, decentralized, but still, it's puts 1 point of failure for a lot of things if you have those stacked up.
Plus, it brings these people into Ergo ecosystem a bit because they need the exposure to Ergo for the collateral. For each new chain we get, we'll need new people.
Right.
Up Ergo and Rosen.
Right,
so
yeah.
all done on Ergo.
Yeah, it's actually, I prefer people to, instead of redistributing their Rosen for permits, is to, I hate to say purchase more, but, because otherwise you're going to see this shift of permits move from chain to chain that flattens out, and you're no longer going to have a high amount of permits on Ergo and Cardano anymore because they're going to flatten out to other chains. So if you can, the ideal thing is to keep your current permit balance and move forward on another chain if that's what you're thinking.
All right. All right. Let's see. We had another one here about. Okay. So. Here it is. Wendy Moon. Why will they increase the guard set? Is it too small now?
I don't recall the reasoning for that conversation. Mark, do you remember?
I don't think I've seen that, but I would guess because they want to add ones for each chain, maybe. They want to add, say, 10 people from ETH or BTC to be guards. So each new chain will probably add more in so they get one big, huge one.
So that sounds pretty right, Mark. Yeah, good point. You don't want all Ergo people running guards for every single chain. You want some sort of buy-in and some sort of skin in the game from the people that are actually participating on the chain you're going to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll buy it, Mark. That sounds great.
I'll buy that for $1. That's what you're trying to say.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. All right, let's take one more question. All right. Okay, I'll take one right in the middle there. What is the purpose of the recent meme coin contest? What is the purpose of that?
Ergo one meme contest, I think it means.
Yeah, yes.
Just marketing exposure, community marketing. It's quite an interesting project where they reward people based on how many impressions they get, I think, in Ergo one. But yeah, it's just to get the word out if we're thinking the same thing, because there's a coin. Or that maybe the physical coins he's talking about.
Which ones, Mark?
The physical coins with the Ergo logo on them.
Oh, I wonder. Meme coin. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought you guys could answer this one. I was not sure about that one. It just happened to be right in the middle. I would take one right from the middle. Let's see. All right. So let's see. One last good one. All right. All right. Well, maybe you guys know about this, but legend has it that Kushti can manually mine a whiteboard and input the hashes at 300 WPM. Do you guys know if this is true?
Especially
Is
shoots
this like
laser beams out of his fingers. You know,
fingers?
he doesn't even have to pick up the marker on the whiteboard. He just thinks about it and the text appears on the whiteboard, Dan.
Well, I don't think it's lightning. You know,
Lightning. Okay.
laser beams out of the eyes, lightning out of the hands.
Oh,
Uh,
speaking of Krishti, just plugging some more stuff. Some people may have noticed that I created a Good Things DAO token the other day, and that's a participation token. I've been ragging on Louis Vatra. Louis Vatra, if you're watching this, get your shit together and make the DAO, please. Um, but I've asked Louis Vatra nicely several times. I'm sure he's a busy man fixing things on Crux and Padilla. Especially all of Mark's commits on Padilla that he's put in GitHub. But we've asked him to create a Good Things DAO for us on Padilla, and I've already extracted all the donators from Kushti's 2 raffles to donate to the Kenya Foundation, the Rural Kenyan Foundation. So those people are going to be airdropped the Padilla participation tokens, and we will start this DAO up and start to organize and get a kind of a baseline for how many funds have been raised, how many is already out there, and what we can do and choose to steer the rest of it. It's super cool and excited about that. And this, for people who don't know what that is, it uses the Excel format where it's lending 0% loans with no collateral to rural farmers or shopkeepers or anybody in Kenya. Some examples have been somebody's purchased, I believe, horses or mules. Somebody else used it to purchase stock for their grocery store, so they had more stock going through the months. But it's super cool, and it's one of those awesome use cases that Ergo just really, or cryptocurrency in general, really fits the bill for that kind of thing. You know, no borders. You just can send money in a matter of seconds, and then they can, if they want to, they cash it out on their end if there's not really a crypto network there, and they do what they want with it.
I think there's a V2 almost ready as well of Excel. With crowd-funded contracts. At the moment, it's just one person pays it. I've done the raffles, but I think a V2 with the UI overhauled and those crowd-funded contracts should be live pretty soon.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Oh, and also, I don't know if we'll give him praise. If anybody saw Twitter maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago regarding the Kenyan fundings, I believe Chris, what's Chris's last name?
Ray.
Chris Ray, thank you. Chris Ray forgave all the loans that he lent on Excel a couple of weeks ago, which was extremely generous of him. And you got to imagine that the kind of impact that has when somebody borrowing $500 is enough to change their life. You can imagine how much it changes their life if they don't necessarily have to pay it back. So those kind of life-changing gestures are absolutely heartwarming and amazing. So bravo to Chris Ray for doing that.
Yeah, totally. That's what it's all about, I think. That's what it's all about. All right, guys, I think this is a good place to leave it off for this episode of the Mark and QX and Dan show, also known as the weekly AMA. And so, yeah, thanks a lot, everybody, for tuning in. Great questions today. Lots of participation. Hopefully we'll do the same, if not better, next time. So, yeah, from all of us out there in YouTube land, same time, same place, same channel next week. Until then, this is Dan, barely alive from Japan, signing off.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.